Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back to another live stream of Shadowverse. Today is Monday, October 19th. I am starting late again because while I was awake at 10 in the morning, I knew if I started streaming around that time, which was previously the kind of established time in which I was streaming, uh, we would I would be really asleep at that point. Of course, suffering from insomnia, I've been awake maybe an hour so far, and so I could be still drowsy on because I've been awake too long, or I could be drowsy because I've just woken up, or I could just be drowsy in general because the quality of uh, sleep that I've had has been so incredibly poor. This is interesting. I don't remember ending a game like that. Interesting. I thought I had a clean exit last time I played. Let's go ahead and replace this. It seems fairly obvious at this point. Like, I should reroll Runecraft and Dragoncraft more than anything. But yeah, it seems fairly obvious that you practically always have a tournament happening, and for the few times you don't have a tournament going on, um, you've got some other focus or event happening. Doesn't seem like you get too many single player events, but maybe they only do single player events when they're doing a crossover type experience with the Code Geass crossover. That was the last time we saw a single player event. Otherwise, it seems to just toggle between giving you treasure chests for a short time um, and having tournaments. And I think probably that's the wise move, is that you kind of would want to have tournaments always going, because particularly right now, you really can't have like real world tournaments. And for a collectible card game that's digital, I don't know if you could have real world tournaments anyways. Not a lot of them. Um, I don't even know if like Magic the Gathering nationals and things like that are particularly prevalent. Like when you think about like a card game that is originally a card game, and uh, I imagine even if there are nationals for or worldwide tournaments for things like Magic the Gathering, it probably doesn't pull anywhere as near viewers as any random esports tournament. But with like Dota, um, for the accountability section today, I have been playing Return of the Obra Dinn. That game, the anniversary, 2-year anniversary of it happened, and it was selling for $10, which Return of the Obra Dinn, now having played the entire game, really not worth $20. Sorry, like I know it's an indie game from the creator of Papers Please, but that's almost like a detriment to him, because Lucas Pope is kind of anal retentive about some things. Um, for instance, the visual style of the Return of the Obra Dinn is interesting in the first hour or two, and then it's kind of just gets in your way for the rest of the game. It's not actually a helpful style. It only helps the creator, Lucas Pope, hide factors and like make the game more difficult. And Return of the Obra Dinn is about a 10-hour game with a lot of guessing to figure out the fates of 60 different passengers on a pirate ship. But instead of it being a Sherlock Holmes game where you would would have to deduce things and you would be able to deduce things. A lot of it really is just, okay, this is going to be a process of elimination. You're going to find the names of 4 out of the 5 midshipmen, and then once you have that figured out, you're going to, at that point and only at that point, be able to figure out who the 5th person is. I honestly had to brute force at least half, I would say, or approaching half, if not exactly half, of the people that were the as far as what their names were and their fates. And I'd been spoiled on Return of the Obra Dinn since I'd watched other people play it, and there really is no major recovery from that. But also I would say the way you figure out somebody's fate is you see this short stationary 3D model vignette of what happened at the exact point of something's death, whether it was a human or a creature's death. But the game would have been very much benefited by having some other memories you could see, things that could give you more dialogue and more interaction with people, more backstory. Like, the biggest condemnation on the lack of character development and writing in it is that even beating the whole game and getting the secret ending, which you have to get all the other fates right before you can see the secret ending, even at that, where that was supposed to be the big reveal that shows you what happened, I am shown this big reveal, and I still don't know if I'm supposed to think that the captain's a good guy or a bad guy, and I don't know if his motivations were pure or greedy. Honestly, I have to kind of assume that everybody on the Obra Dinn at a very early point got cursed, and their actions, their way of thinking, and their motivations had all been corrupted and changed probably before the beginning of the entire experience, because there's like an early chapter where some cargo just crashes on somebody and a stowaway gets killed by accident, and they don't even care about the stowaway. The uncharted desert awaits. So I almost would assume that there was some kind of curse put on the ship because the stowaway got killed, and that was never revealed. They never show you the stowaway. They just show you that there was a barrel and somebody was in the barrel. I'm not sure anybody on the ship even ever realized that the stowaway was in the barrel. But yeah, that's... I also wouldn't be surprised if it was cursed even before that point. Like, you have the ship, and on the ship you have like several passengers, female passengers, which seems odd for a naval ship, but okay. And then you have a entire Formosan royalty, and there's no real explanation as to why they're on the ship at all. Otherwise, it looks like it is mostly just a basic trading ship that's just moving cargo back and forth. That's as best as I can guess. Yeah, I really just feel like there should have been more story, more backstory, more character development, more of a game, frankly. At the core of it, Obra Dinn is a unique and different experience. It's a very artistic experience that I would say probably people, if you like 10-hour puzzle games that require a lot of deductive reasoning and nothing else, then you should probably go in blind for Obra Dinn. But otherwise, it's kind of not a game. And if somebody said, here's an Obra Dinn 2, and it's exactly the same as Obra Dinn 1, I'd be like, oh, I think I could pass. Maybe 4 or 5 years down the line, I could see that. In a weird way, I think if you took a lot of the ideas of Obra Dinn and just made a murder mystery in a mansion, that would very much like Clue and Cluedo, because really Obra Dinn is kind of a extended idea around the idea of Clue. There might be something more interesting than there, but if it was set on a pirate on a sailing ship, it's not a pirate ship. In fact, you never see any pirates at all. But yeah, there's room for improvement. I would say definitely some room for improvement. That being said, I will say Lucas Pope's first game, Papers, Please, was a stationary, flat 2D game, and moving to Obra Dinn, which was stationary 3D images, is showing that he's probably improving his ability to make games as an indie developer, although perhaps him staying as an indie developer doesn't benefit him as much as he probably thinks. He does things clearly the way he wants it. He has like the audio and the video settings and the motion smoothing settings all labeled as perfect, and things like that. So it's a very opinionated labeling of settings. Like the audio settings, first of all, are defaulted to maximum, and they definitely should have been in by default in the middle. See. So yeah, if Lucas Pope worked more in a aspect of a collaboration or in with a small company, his programming skills and his ideas could probably be collaborated with and improved upon instead of just being his idea and only his ideas. And the main menu kind of comes off like the whole game is him when it kind of isn't. There's a lot of music that plays, and clearly he hired people to make those music. There's a lot of different voice actors voicing the small amount of lines for each character. Then there's a decent amount of and my internet's messed up. Like, I just changed my internet too to try to make it a little bit less grindy. Like before, I had it set up where going in a loop forever,